And with that, we say hello and welcome to a fresh hour of CBS Sports HQ alongside Larry Ridley. I am Hakeem Dermish. Suns in 4 is no more, but Bucks in 6 very much in the mix. This after Milwaukee even things up on their home floor.
Yeah, Hakeem, you looking at the Bucks had it brewing, no pun intended, right there in Bruce City.
I had plenty of puns brewing on mine.
Deer Park was rocking for games 3 and 4. Milwaukee evening the series at 2, but at some point, folks, they're going to have to rally in the valley and still one in the desert if they're going to take home the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
We are ready. Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Declared me to play. My knee, I feel no pain. The swelling was down, so I was like, okay, good to go.
Crowd under Bridges up inside, blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a recovery. Ball's got to do something with it. Fires up the three. It's good. And the foul.
That's one win. I think I'm just focused on the task at hand.
Booker's going to get hot tonight. He's not going to go 1 for 8 from the three-point line. He's probably going to go 6 for 7.
Booker for 3. Puts it in.
They did their job. We got to do our job. We've been here before. We know what the deal is. We got to go back home and protect home.
Antetokounmpo draws the foul, banks it home, and a chance for a three-point play.
This is a team that really feeds off their fans. They feed off being at home.
Booker, first shot of the night. And that's got to feel good after he struggled shooting the ball in Game 3. Middleton fires away, hits a three. Holiday, fouled by Booker. They didn't call it. That would have been his 6th foul. Now Booker throws it up for Ayton. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a block from Giannis. Holiday, Middleton, inside. He banks it home. Timeout, Phoenix. This building is shaking.
Closing a game like this in the NBA Finals means a lot, and it felt good, but we cannot be satisfied.
We got 3 games to win 2. That's how you got to look at it. You can't have your head down right now. You got to stay together. That's the deal.
Yeah, boy, we are even, Steven. The series and the scene now shifting to Phoenix for Game 5 on Saturday night, and life away from home has been rough for Milwaukee. They're 3-6 on the road in their past 3 playoff rounds, scoring 5 fewer points per game, allowing nearly 15 points more per game, and have a -8 point differential there. All right, like we just said, we now have a best-of-3 series. Let's welcome in Tim Doyle and Kenny White, fellas. The home team's undefeated in these finals, 4-0 straight up and against the spread. Will anything change when the scene shifts back to Phoenix on Saturday? Tim, we'll start with you and start us off, buddy.
Larry, this time I kind of looked at the series from the jump. I thought Milwaukee could win a game in Phoenix, and I didn't think Phoenix could win a game in Milwaukee. The only game that the Bucks have dropped so far at home, it took a very special performance from Trae Young. And it almost took an even more special performance from Devin Booker before foul trouble became an issue in that spot. The Bucks are not losing at home. And you have to really look in the mirror and be like, can Milwaukee win in Phoenix? And all the nerd metrics, if you dove into after Game 2, favored the Bucks. Now, the nerd metrics in Game 3 actually favored the Suns, but when you turn the ball over 17 times versus 5, that's 12 more empty possessions in a game where every possession matters. It ended up biting the Suns at the end of the day. But Milwaukee is going to win a game in Phoenix, Kenny. I think that's going to be the difference in the series.
Hey guys, I sent Tim a text message or an email today. Exactly, that's what I said. I said, this is what I'm going to say on the show tonight. He just stole everything I just said. Thanks a lot, Tim.
That little sniper, the vested Tim Doyle, the vested Tim Doyle. Well, you know what, Kenny, I'm going to go right back to you now. Let's take a look at the updated series price. Bucks now at +135. Before Game 3, they were at +375, and you and Tim told us to jump on the Bucks at that number. Kenny, do you still believe in the Bucks to come back from the 0-2 deficit, now obviously tied up at 2?
I do, but anybody who's been following me, that I've been telling everybody take the Bucks after Game 1, after Game 2, plus $4.50 or plus $4 after Game 3, and then I said again last night, you got to take this big price with the Bucks plus $260. It's going to go way down. I thought it would be a little bit lower than this. I thought the Bucks would have a little easier time. Obviously, down 9 in the 4th quarter was kind of scary, but what a great comeback to win the game. All the momentum in the world right now, the value I think is on the Bucks still right now, But myself, I laid $1.45 today for half the bets that I've been getting. So I've got an earn now on half the bets I've made going into this series. Put myself in pretty good position to come out with a profit no matter what happens in the rest of the series.
Yeah, Kenny, I actually stole a page from you. I bet Giannis to win the MVP after game 2 when they were down 2-0 because I locked in at the Bucks at 375, but I locked in at Giannis plus 500. And after watching him after the first 2 games, I was like, oh, this guy's almost back to 100%. If the Bucks are going to win the title, this guy's going to win the MVP. So I thought that was an excellent point by you that there was actually more value betting the MVP than there was betting the Milwaukee Bucks. But this has been a series that it's going to come down to a few plays. If you watch game 4, it came down to a few possessions, and Chris Paul is starting to look his age a little bit. Good for Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday can't make a shot in this series, but man, his defense has been a difference maker, and he has really frustrated Chris Paul. I mean, it was a 2-point game, and Chris Paul just like trips, and Chris Middleton has made some big shots at home. I just feel like one of those home performances that Middleton has delivered, it's going to translate at some point on the road. So if you're Phoenix right now, you go back to Phoenix being like, what happened there? We had that game. Like that, you can't feel warm and fuzzy going back home because up 9 in the second half, everything was going your way. Instead, now you go back home, it's locked in at 2, and all the pressure in the world is on the Suns.
Hey, Tim, the bet on Giannis, you got a better number than I did. I got plus 450 at William Hill. But you know what? We can still win that bet even if the Bucks don't win the NBA title. If it goes 7 games, Giannis still could be the MVP. He's really been the best player. Who do you choose? You got Paul or Booker or Giannis? I think Giannis could still win it even if they don't win.
What?
I understand what you're saying.
No, that's not happening.
Oh, boy.
Tim, come on. No.
You're right, Akeem. It's not happening. But I think it is. It's going to be a really interesting case because even the year where Andre Iguodala won the MVP, my buddy actually had him. He was 40-1 to win the MVP when he was the small forward for the Warriors. Go back and look at LeBron's stats in that series. They were pretty remarkable. But I don't think he's going to win the Finals MVP just because the sentimental story of Chris Paul, the story is just too much. So that's why I wouldn't even get involved with Devin Booker. Booker could win it, but he's going to have to go basically 40-40-40 the rest of the series in order to win the Finals MVP. So if the Suns win it, Chris Paul's going to win the MVP.
Well, Kenny, I was just going to ask you that.
It's only happened one time, Kenny. Jerry West in 1969. It's the only time it's ever happened.
Giannis could go, but I think Giannis could go 40-40-40 in the next 3 games, and it could come down to the last basket to win the game in Phoenix in Game 7. And Giannis would be the best player in that series by far.
What about Devin Booker, guys? Went for 42 a game high last night. What do you guys think about Book?
I think that he has a long shot chance, but he has a chance. I mean, Larry, they win yesterday, and then he goes home and has another 48-point performance. Then I think he has a really strong case. I just think there's so much sentimental value with Chris Paul, but Chris Paul was really good the first 2 games. You know what he was the last 2 games?
Not good.
Really bad. And turning the ball over, like his decision-making down the stretch was really questionable. So I just feel like Phoenix comes home right now, and they just have to look in the rearview mirror being like, man, we gave Game 4 away.
Yeah, I love it, Tim. Really bad in the last 2 games for Chris Paul. But it's right. He is the sentimental favorite. It was after the first 2 games, and then a 10-point performance by Booker kind of put him behind the 8 ball a little bit. But yeah, I agree. And you said Booker's kind of a long shot to win it. Yeah, so there's no value betting him at plus 220 right now. Chris Paul at $2. There's a little more value in Chris Paul. You know he's going to get a little bit of a second win playing at home in Game 5. He'll have that second win again in Game 7 at home. But I think they struggle again on the road. This is going to be a great series. This is a great 3-game series we have in front of us.
Yeah, and I just think what Giannis has done, I don't think anyone, Kenny, could have expected this. You know, hyperextended knee is a lot different than a torn meniscus. You were all over Joel Embiid before the series where the 76ers played the Hawks. You were like, man, I coached a lot of guys in baseball that tore their meniscus, and they were able to go out there and play. But hyperextended knee, we were looking at 2 to 4 weeks. I thought after Game 1, his performance was outstanding. He got tired as the game wore on. But ever since then, a guy's got an outstanding motor, and I don't care if you like him, don't like the Bucks, rooting for the Suns, whatever. You gotta respect how hard this guy plays. And he'll go to the free throw line and miss 4 free throws in a row. Next play down, he's dipping his head down. He's getting into the lane, and he's like, screw it, I'll go back to the free throw line. Like, that takes a lot of you-know-what to have the courage to keep going back to the line, even though that's not your best spot. And in game number 3, he goes 13 of 17 from the free throw line. Obviously, if you've watched kind of what he does at the line, it is starting to speed up a little bit. I've watched him work out a bunch. He's not a shooter. You know, like some guys are great hitters. Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew, like, they just had great eyes. They were great hitters. Some guys are the same way with shooting. When they shoot a basketball, they got great rotation. He doesn't have that, okay? So, like, he has made himself borderline acceptable as a free throw shooter at best, but he has even worked so hard to get to that point. So the Bucks win it, Giannis is winning the MVP. It's
sort of like guys with fashion, right? Some guys have an eye for fashion, some guys don't. Tim, you certainly have an eye for fashion. I mean, when you're out shopping, you think of me trying to buy me a blazer, which I love. You're so thoughtful. You're rocking the vest now. I mean, it's a great look. It really is.
I saw you at the Louis store the other day.
I appreciate that, Akeem. You know, that means a lot coming from you because, Larry, I don't know if you know this about Akeem. If you have like a little schmutz on your face before the show, like a little over here or something, like maybe a little cream cheese from a bagel, he'll tell you. And it's almost like, you know, it's not like a booger hanging out of your nose. Like he'll be like, Larry, like clean it up. Like he's not insulting you. He's just an all-around team player.
Boom. There you go.
Big brother.
That's my guy. That's my guy. Game 5 Saturday. Series moves back to Phoenix. Suns are a 4-point favorite. The total's 218. Tim, will the Bucks buck the trend to be the first team to win a road game in these NBA Finals?
I want to give full disclosure here. I thought the Suns were the right bet in game 4. Now, I'm so pot committed with the Bucks every which way to win the championship, to win the series. I just sat. Now, if you bet the Suns in game 4, honestly, I thought you had the right way, especially getting 4.5. You lost, but you had the right way, and it was a good thought process because the first 3 games of the series all were favorites. You had to figure at some point there was going to be a dog or a very close game. Really tough loss. So far in the finals, there's been 4 games. There's been 4 favorites. I'm not going to bet game 5, but if I decided to bet, I would bet the Bucks in game 5, sit out game 6, and come back with them in game 7 if they lost game 5. They're not losing game 6 in Milwaukee. You know it, I know it, the American people know it. So, like, that's how I would zero in. I know you hate the martingale, the martingale, whatever it is you like to call it, where pick out them out, bet them in game 5, the Bucks. If they lose, come back with them in game 7. They're winning one of these games in Phoenix, Kenny.
So it's now the Doyle-Gale system. So forget about Martin. The Doyle-Gale the Doyle-Gale system never works the double up. So I'm not going with that theory. But you know what? Home court in this series is gigantic. Both these teams, and a lot of people will go, "You're off your rocker" when I tell what I give for home court advantage. Both these teams' home court is worth 6 points. In a betting world, in a bookmakers and a line maker and odds maker trying to set a line, that home court's probably worth 4.5 points. Because obviously the Suns right now at -4. It's saying these 2 teams are very equal teams. In my mind, the line should be 6 because I think the Suns' home court is worth 6 points in this game. But I can't bet them. I'm rooting for the Bucks. I'm rooting for the Bucks to win this game. I'm rooting for them to be the better team in the series.
Yeah, you know, my whole life, Kenny, I always wanted a system named after me. Like, it all started with a boy, a ball, and a dream of maybe one day a system would be named after me. So, Kenny, you made my life. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Tim. Thank you.
All right, guys. You look at it. What's your top Suns player prop wager, guys? CP3, Book, DeAndre Ayton. Which way are you guys going?
I'm going to go with Chris Paul under. Drew Holiday's done a remarkable job, and they're starting to figure out how to guard Chris Paul, and they're making him more of a distributor. So I'm going to go under from a points perspective. Drew Holiday has really frustrated him. I think it's actually affected Drew Holiday in a negative way on the offensive end because he's given so much energy on the defensive end. They still need him to be a capable scorer, and when he scores, I think the Bucks are a completely different team. But he has wiped out Chris Paul, and I think that trend is going to continue. I'm going to go under Chris Paul, 21.5. What do you think, Kenny?
Yeah, no, I like that a lot because I think Devin Booker, I thought he was a star 2 years ago, but he's really developing into that superstar player with that last couple of games, this last game especially. His numbers at 28.5. I think he goes over. His shooting is just amazing. So I love the way this kid plays the game. I hope he barely gets over it, though, because I still want the Bucks to win. But I think Booker over, it's got a lot of value to it.
All right, let's take a look at your top Milwaukee player prop. Chris Middleton scored a career-high postseason high 40 points in Game 4, scored Milwaukee's final 10 points of the game. We know that role players play better at home, but now Milwaukee going on the road. Tim, what's the Bucks player prop that you're targeting in Game 5?
I'm going to go right back to the well here, Chris Middleton. It's funny, I had under yesterday with him, and obviously he went flying over with that remarkable performance. But now I'm going to go over with him. You know, I didn't think that he had 30 shots in his bag, and that's what he ended up taking last night. If he gets the FGAs, which I've talked with Kenny about, you know, then all of a sudden his point prop is going to get real juicy. He's one of these guys that he gets in a rhythm, like a streak rhythm, where it's almost like, oh man, give him the ball, get out of his way. He's got an outstanding mid-range game. He made every big basket down the stretch. And honestly, if you're picking the Bucks to win the series like myself, that's the guy right there. Like, he's going to have a big performance in Game 5 or Game 7 because they're going to have to win one of these games in Phoenix if they're going to go out there and win the series. So the Martin Doyle system, bet Chris Middleton over in Game 5, come right back with him in Game 7. Bucks are going to win one of these games, and Middleton's going to be the reason for it, Kenny.
So the Doyle-Gale system would be the double up. But, hey, you know, you gave Giannis some credit earlier about missing 4 free throws, coming back and making a tremendous block. Yeah, I give him a lot of credit for being the number 2 guy in crunch time, knowing that he's got to get the ball to Middleton, and he did everything he could. And he disguised it a couple of times really well, like he was going to go to the basket and force a shot, and he got 3 Suns to attract that way, and then he kicked it to Middleton, and man, this guy was on fire last game. But on the road, I'm going to have to go under with Middleton. I went under last night because I did the numbers. Counting the games when Giannis is playing, he was 12-6 to the under 24.5 points. Now he's 12-7 to the under. So I'm getting even money. I really thought the bookmakers would make a mistake and raise this up to 25.5. Nah, they didn't bite. They kept it at 24.5 even after a big game, but I still think it's too high. His median number's 22. So, Tim, we're going head-to-head on Middleton's total. I'm going under.
Hey Tim, thanks for bringing out that photo. I want that brought up old memory. I want to show you this because this is really embarrassing. Maybe we can get like a tight shot on 4 here if that's possible. This is really embarrassing. Like, really, look at this. What was my mom thinking?
Crayola.
Like, how did she allow this?
Yeah, you know, it's fuzzy, but the one thing I can tell is
I'm holding a red crayon.
Yes.
And I have a mullet.
Yeah. Now, that head of hair, I mean, it's almost like a helmet of hair.
It is.
That's all you're like. I don't even know how you got like a hat over that thing.
It's like
remarkable.
A hat.
No, some good salad right there, man. What are you talking about?
Was that your senior picture, senior high school picture?
This was my first grade picture. I should have done that for my senior year, though. Should have done the old. I did the old. A lot of nonsense, a lot of fun here on CBS Sports HQ. You get picks, you get entertainment, you get value, you get knowledge, you get money in your pocket. Tim and Kenny split here on the series price. Tim likes the Bucks at plus 135. Kenny likes the Suns at minus 155. I like big bucks, and I cannot lie. Giannis is your MVP, according to Tim and Kenny. They like the value there with Devin Booker as well. In Game 5, Tim says, I'll take the Bucks on money line. Kenny says, I'm going to play the under at 218. Their top Suns player prop here, Chris Paul under 21.5. Kenny White over 20.5 points for Devin Booker. And the top Bucks player prop for Game 5. They are both in agreement in lockstep. Chris Middleton coming off 40 points in Game 4, over 24.5 points as the series shifts to Phoenix for Game 5 on Saturday night.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.